Hello, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm Nikki Wallman. When 90-year-old Aviva Pelham wrote the story of her life, her intention was simply to create a memoir for future generations. Her story became something more when her daughter, opera diva Aviva Pelham, developed a one-woman show recounting the extraordinary and true facts of her life. Santa narrowly and repeatedly escaped the Nazi onslaught across Europe, only to find herself eventually in South Africa, a survivor of the Holocaust.
As she reached her 90th birthday, I thought that we had to document the story of Santa, my mother. It was a really interesting life story, and we wanted it down for the children, the grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren. So what we did was I contacted Gwyn Robbins, and she had several conversations with Santa, which were then transcribed, and she also did considerable research on the history of Europe at that stage, and she did the original manuscript. After which my daughter, Gabi, then edited the story, and that became the book, Santa's Story.
I unloaded, and everything that was stuck there for so many years was given out into the book. Anybody who wants to know what happened in those 3 years, not only to Santa, but what happened in politics and so on, is in the book.
The new baby was to be called Scheindl, but the German official at the registry office refused to accept a Yiddish name. So Santa I became, but a saint I never was.
We had a lovely home, a little bit out of Cologne, and people knew us very, very well. We were very much liked, especially my mother, who was a most highly intelligent person, uneducated, can you believe it, looking after a business, looking after a home, looking after children. So she was really very much appreciated in Germany.
Some local children were playing hopscotch, and one child said, "Don't let's play with Santa, she killed Jesus."
And I said, "But I didn't kill anyone. I didn't." "Yes, yes, yes, you killed Jesus." And that was the instigation of the church at that time. And my mother understood. She took me and she says, "Of course you did not kill anyone. Of course. You mustn't worry about that." But she couldn't explain the whole thing. I was too young.
3 men came upstairs. 2 were Gestapo members. The third was the drunk policeman. "Herr Erder, I have come to arrest you. First, let me finish my Sabbath prayer."
So your father was arrested, and then they said they could get him out on condition that he left Germany,
Yeah.
and that's when he went to Spain.
That's right, yeah.
And they got caught in the Civil War there. And then they had to run again.
At the Polish consulate, he waited in a large waiting room. When he heard his name, Simcha Erda, called out, he collected his passport and he moved through the crowd to leave. And suddenly he felt a tap on his shoulder. "Are you Herr Erda from Knapsack?" Yes. He was the man who had run for the midwife when I was born. My papa told him that we were now refugees. He introduced us to his beautiful wife, Renia.
And she was so interested in me. You know, I didn't know what for. She said as soon as she laid eyes on me, we were introduced, she saw my husband standing next to me.
"Oh, but Jacques Pelham is very nice, only there is one problem."
I said, "What's the problem?" "He's short." "Oh, then don't talk to me. I can't stand short people. I must have a tall husband."
I laughed at the idea of marrying a short stranger from faraway Africa. But Renia said, "Just write a few words. Go, fetch a photo and include it in your letter."
And eventually she did. In the meantime, he wrote to somebody who he didn't know in Warsaw and said, "Would you start this correspondence? Come and marry me in Rhodesia." He thought he needed a partner. And she wrote back, "I'd rather you come to Warsaw." So he felt this was a dead end.
And shortly afterwards, I received a letter.
Dear Santa, I am very interested in you, and if you are willing to marry me, I promise you 3 things: a dress, a pair of shoes, and a cinema ticket. Regards, Jacques Pelham.
It was the cinema ticket that made me write back to him.
So my father got 2 young women, neither of whom he knew, one in Warsaw and one in Paris, who were both desperate to leave
And the
Europe.
letters arrived at the same time.
The second one was from Sarah, and she had not specified a country. He went to Solly for advice. Solly pointed to my letter. You should marry this one. Why this one and not the other one? Because this one came straight to you. The other one traveled all over the world to make way for this one. And that is how Solly King saved my life. I went to Salisbury. Sarah went to Auschwitz. I went to Africa. Sarah went to the gas chambers. 2 women's fate determined by 1 line omitted on an envelope.
At the tender age of 19, Santa Erda said goodbye to her parents at a train station in Paris and started on her journey to meet her future husband, Jacques Pelham, in what was then southern Rhodesia.
I remember us all crying when the train whistle went. I had a feeling I would never see them again. Wie mein Herzbett vergaß mich nicht. In Leid, in Freuden vergaß mich nicht.
We didn't know each other, and I only went because I thought I will be able to rescue my family. It was before the war.
Just before
the war.
At midnight, I woke up. The train had stopped. I heard voices, and I heard knocking. Half asleep, I opened. There I stood, my hair in curlers, my face lathered in cold cream, and in front of me stood a short man, holding a withered bunch of flowers pinched from the dining car. Jack stared at me aghast. What did he expect, for goodness sake, waking a girl in the middle of the night?
And one day we were going for a walk, and I realized all of a sudden what a most wonderful person this was, you see. When I found out that I married a gem, I couldn't believe it. How lucky can you be? And I fell in love with my husband.
The chuppah was scheduled for 3:30 on Sunday in the King's Garden, and I told myself, this is it. I'm going to make the best of it. But how could I care about wedding rituals when my family was in danger in one country and I was thousands of miles away marrying somebody I didn't even know?
Eventually the war did start, and I realized I will never see my family again. I was destitute for a week. Nobody could talk to me.
On September the 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland and the Second World War began.
Every day at 1 o'clock, I'd go to the lounge and listen to the radio. We heard about the fall of Paris. I heard Hitler ranting and raving, Die Juden, die Juden! Sie werden schon lang nicht lachen. The Jews, the Jews. They won't laugh for long. Oh, how I missed my mother. Mamele, Mamele. Mit Liebschaft will ich rufen dich, Mamele. Eugen mit, schwach dein Hand. A golden Herz hast du an jeder Kind versteht.
I've always been very bonded with Santa. I'm her youngest daughter, and I'm not sure why, but I always had enormous connection to specifically the Holocaust. I've been watching her extremely closely these last couple of years. I've been taping her when she talks and when she walks and when her turn of expression. I've really tried to grasp it. It's not easy with somebody this close, because who can even try to be anything like this rather special lady?
Now I am surrounded by love. I feel blessed, and I thank God that I was saved so something of my heritage and my family could carry on. So you see, Hitler did not win. Nazism did not triumph after all. I'm proud to say I survived. And I'm still here.
Well, that's the show for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do tune in again same time next Sunday. If you've missed any of our previous shows, you can find them on our website at www.spiritsister.co.za. And of course, we always love to hear your comments or thoughts, so find us on Facebook at Spirit Sister Productions. As always, from me, Nikki, and the team, shalom, and have a safe and peaceful week.